Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, the Hut, and welcome back to the Baseball Hut. Hope you like this video. If you're coming by for the first time, I could really appreciate if you subscribe to this channel. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subs, and since I've been asking folks to come in here and subscribe, it has done rather well. And anyone that is on the channel, has been on the channel, is a big fan of mine, I need you to share this video. Either through Facebook or Twitter or whatever they want to call themselves, all different places, YouTube obviously, and of course if you have any Met fans who are friends or family, text it to them and send it to them. You know, send it to in a DM if you're part. And I'm not part of a Discord, but if you're in a Discord, put it in a Discord of Met fans. Tell them this is the channel you want to follow, and you want to subscribe because I'll tell it like it is. You know. I'll go after the team, and I'm going to do a video on the team. It's not today. It'll be uploaded tomorrow, but I'm not beholden to the team. So I want to see the Mets win, but I'll call them out if I need to. And I'm not associated with CBS Sports. I'm not associated with the fan. I'm not associated with SMY, Fox Sports, ESPN, or any of those different entities that broadcast the game. So I'm not involved with any of them. I'm a fan like you. We have a report here about Pete Alonso and the Mets, which I think is, it seems kind of negative report, but I think it's kind of a promising one. There's a headline from SportsIllustrated.com, SI.com. New York Mets, Pete Alonso apart on years for potential long-term deal. Now, we hadn't heard that the Mets have been talking to Pete, but here we go. The Mets and Pete are apart on years for a potential long-term deal. Okay. They have had discussions, which is the good news in all this. They've talked. New York Mets and star first baseman Pete Alonso are on the same page when it comes to financials for a long-term extension. But they are apart when it comes to the amount of years on a potential deal. A team source told Inside the Mets. The same source says Alonso is seeking a 10-year deal, but the Mets have been unwilling to meet him on this number so far. Alonso will turn 29 years old in December, so a decade-long contract would bring him up to 39. Which could be why the Mets are currently reluctant to go there. Now here's the thing: he's playing first. That is not a premium position, and that's not he's not very athletic. So how does he age net? It is also unknown the level of involvement the new president of baseball operations, David Stearns, has had in these talks. If any, considering he doesn't officially take over his new role until October 2nd. But General Manager Billy Epler is still in place and expected to remain in the same position when Stearns comes on board. Epler declined comment for this story, but he commented today. He said, I'm sort of paraphrasing, he said he doesn't want to talk about any kind of talks that they're having with Pete. They want to keep it very quiet. It's been very quiet. We haven't heard much other than this monkey crap about trading him. Alonso's entering the final year of his contract in 24. The Mets could work out an extension with him prior to the next season or wait until he reaches free agency. The latter is something owner Steve Cohen has hinted at doing, which is what they did with Brandon Nimmo, Edwin Diaz, and Jacob deGrom. But they have already begun speaking to Alonso about a new deal. They did that with Brandon Nimmo last year. They talked to him before 2022, and they couldn't come up with a deal. And obviously the value, I think, of Brandon Nimmo has gone up since then. And he's been able to play every day for 2 years without too many injuries. The Milwaukee Brewers and Chicago Cubs both called about Alonso's availability at the trade deadline. The Brewers and Mets actually discussed a potential trade, but there is some disagreement regarding how close the sides got to reaching a deal. The Mets could possibly trade Alonso this winter when his value will be highest, but it sounds like they are more likely to try to work out a long-term extension with him first. Word is that from SNY that the Mets are not going to move Pete this offseason. They're not going to move him. Now, if they have a terrible first half next year, he's going to get moved. They can't come up with a contract. I mean, that's just common sense. Alonso's become a franchise cornerstone player for the Mets, and no player has more homers or RBIs since he entered the league in 2019 as a rookie. Alonso and the Mets have had discussions about a new deal. They're close on financials, but apart on years. Now, a couple of things about Pete as a player. He's the best power hitter in the game. Don't look at his 220 average that he has. That is an anomaly. Last year he had 271, and he's a 254 hitter lifetime. His home run numbers are comparable to Hall of Famers and guys that should have been in the Hall of Fame. His numbers are comparable to Ralph Kiner. If there wasn't the pandemic lockout situation 3 years ago, he would have more home runs right now in the first 5 years of his career than Ralph Kiner and Eddie Matthews and Albert Pujols, which is very impressive. And who else? And his home runs per at bat is comparable to that of Ralph Kiner and, believe it or not, Babe Ruth. So when you're up there with the Babe in terms of home runs per at bat, that is saying something. We've been talking a lot about the fact that the Mets have had a difficult time finding a number 5 hitter to bat behind Pete. Just think about losing a guy that hits 45 home runs, trading him. You'd never be able to replace him. It would take the Mets 30 years to develop another player like that. Oh, it's funny you should mention that, because that was the last time the Mets developed a player that was able to hit 35 home runs. And Darryl Strawberry. It took them 35 years to replace Darryl. I don't count Piazza in that regard, or Carlos Delgado or Beltran. Mets did not develop him in the farm system. They developed Pete, they drafted him, and they brought him up to the farm system, and they played him. So you'll never be able to replace that. That's where I stand on it. You'll never be able to replace that production. And obviously he leads all Major League Baseball RBIs. So he's doing the things that he needs to do. His OPS is elite, over 800 this year, in spite of the low batting average. He's second all-time in slugging percentage with the Mets. He will be the all-time home run leader and the all-time RBI leader with this team if he stays and all is said and done. The Mets have done a good job. This particular owner's done a good job of holding down players. Brandon Nimmo's going to be a Met for life. He'll be the third Met that plays his whole career with the Mets. In all likelihood, Lindor is going to be here for the rest of his career. You need cornerstones for this team. Pete is not only a cornerstone, but he's etched in stone. He's going to be considered one of the great Mets of all time, and you do not let him walk. And you don't want to have him go and play for another team like the Cubs, the Brewers, and then he becomes a Hall of Famer. And then you sort of kick yourself and say, he was with us and we let him go. You don't let the great ones go. If you do, you're a fool. That's just my opinion. But again, to finish up this video, I want to thank you all for coming by. I can't tell you how much you've meant to me, believe it or not, over the last 3 years, in terms of the support that I've gotten here. You watch my videos, you leave great comments. I will say that the live streams will be back in the fall. I'm not sure when. Well, I think today's the first day of fall. Tomorrow is. But the live streams will be back. I have memberships on here. I guess I got to update them. I have products on here that you might be interested with the Baseball Hut logo on it. But more importantly, just you watching and subscribing and sending the link out to other people that may not be aware of this channel. That is the most important thing I can ask you to do for me, is your continued support and send the link out. And again, if you're watching for the first time, please hit the subscribe button. We have a lot of fun here. I goof on the players. I have a lot of fun here. I don't take myself serious. I really don't. And but I take winning seriously. And that's how I look at the Mets, and I know that's how all you look at it. If you're watching this video, you love the Mets, you want to see the Mets win at all costs, and I want them to win. And that's all that matters to me, quite frankly. So let me know what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut. Thank you, and I'll see you later.